So, fluency is actually a choice. It's not something that happens to you after years of study automatically. I used to have that false belief when I studied English, my second language after my maternal language. So I had it for like 7 years already at school, and I thought, okay, it just takes more study, it takes more years to study, and I thought then automatically it will just happen that I speak fluently at some point. And actually, this is something I want to share with you. Fluency is not about that. Fluency is not related to the number of years. It's not related to how much quantity of vocabulary or vocabulary lessons or grammar you study. It is good to study, but there's something else. This choice of the mindset you need to make, which I now over the years have come to call the Star Explorer mindset. You need to switch your mindset to that, and then fluency will happen even already at a beginner's level. So today's video is all about that, how to get you out of that intermediate plateau. Intermediate plateau is basically you have studied now for a certain amount of time your new language, but you just can't get to speaking. And I want to show you how you can switch your mindset in such a way that you will accelerate your learning so much so that you can be finally a fluent speaker. Hi, I'm Dr. Alex. I'm a social psychologist, and I share with you the fundamental laws of social psychology to make your language learning journey so much more efficient, enjoyable, to get you quicker to that enjoyable state of speaking fluently with native speakers, and above all, to have you speak with unshakable confidence. So, what I'm going to share with you are actually the 5 signs that you have what I call now, after years of studying languages, the Star Explorer mindset. And the 5 signs are actually really a mindset of somebody who has developed his or her way of engaging with a new culture, with a new way of speaking. So, number 1 of the Star Explorer mindset is actually you are humble enough to accept mistakes and see it as part of your progress. And also, so importantly, in conversations, you are happy about mistakes and that somebody's correcting you. What I realized actually, what many polyglots I know have in common, if somebody corrects them, they will just go, oh, thank you. Now I see. That's how it works. So I give you an example from my own journey. Those of you who have seen my previous videos on my personal journey, I started out as a monolingual until my adult age with German. Then I finally activated, after 10 years, I activated English. Then I got the twist of it because at the same time I professionalized social psychology. I became a social psychologist in the early 2000s, and so I realized what was the main hack actually to activate fluency. This is what I'm sharing on this channel. And then I learned French in only 3 years. After that, Spanish in 2 years, and now I'm on a 2-year fluency plan for Italian. So the personal experience of myself was when I first came into speaking with native speakers in French. Actually, I realized that culturally correcting somebody was seen as a big no-go, as an affront. And I realized that actually I needed those corrections because I was not advancing that quick as I wanted. And there was a kind of secret nobody spoke about the pronunciation, about the nasal. At the time, there was no YouTube, there was no way of looking that up. How do I pronounce the E's and the A's as a nasal? And finally, there came along somebody who was already fluent in French and said, by the way you pronounce the vowels is completely wrong. And I was like, oh, thank you so much for sharing that with me. And he then explained to me the secret to pronouncing the vowels. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do a video, those of you who are learning French, to share that secret. I will be more than happy to do so. And so this is this humbleness, this kind of gratitude for making mistakes in the learning process. So when you engage with other speakers, you actually you thank them for correcting you, or even you indicate it to them. You say, oh, by the way, I'm learning this language at the moment. I would be so grateful if you could correct me. That would also help them to get them out of that feeling a bit unpleasant or how can I say that? They probably feel they don't know if they can correct you, and if you don't know each other that well, they don't dare to ask you if they can correct you. So to actually offer that to somebody else who is already fluent in the language and to say, please correct me, I'm really happy because I'm learning the language. I want to understand how to speak better. This will just completely take that awkward feeling away. So try it out, or let me know if you have done that already, how that goes for you. Of course, I know you will say it always depends on the type of person you are with. I totally agree. It doesn't work with everyone, that's for sure. Now, that was the first one, the readiness to make mistakes. The second one is a term that I love by Steve Kaufmann, who is a polyglot of 75 years, if I have understood correctly in his videos, who is so inspiring. I think he's by now close to 20 languages, and he started that learning journey quite late in his adult life. So it's also an encouraging example of how this is possible at all ages if you have the right learning technique. Cultural weightlessness is a term he coined to express if you have this mindset to learn languages, you basically also set aside a bit your previous culture, where you're from, because you want to, with the language, you want to enter into a new culture. So it's far more beneficial for you, for your learning, to actually not judge everything you see with the references from your own culture. So I give you an example. If I come into a new language, I actually embrace everything I see with this is why I call it Star Explorer. I see it as a new planet. I'm on a new planet now, so everything is new, and I will not judge it, because on my planet, where I'm from, of course it's different because it's a different culture. And the Star Explorer mindset is basically, it is actually asking as many questions as possible. So when you have this courage to ask questions and to talk to strangers about their culture without judging them, you will see something really, really great happen. They will be so happy to share with you why this is that it resonates in that way, or why this is sense making works in that way, and why this is in this language a structure is constructed in a different way. And without always comparing it with the culture that you're from, makes you far more open and receptive to the new structure you're entering in. And if you have seen my previous video on the new thinking structures that you're developing, this creates such a great health benefit for you as well, because you will realize over time, you will restructure, you will rewire your brain because you think in a different way. I actually experienced that myself every time I switch between French, German, English, and Spanish. I switch the logic a bit in which I'm thinking, and also my personality changes, my identity changes, because it's just a different way of being. And that's the fantastic part of being a polyglot. So all the polyglots out there, please leave a comment how you feel about that, how you experience this. I think personally this is the most rewarding thing of being multilingual, because you realize there's no one truth on earth. There's different truths and different ways of going about reality. And this leads me to number 3 of the Star Explorer mindset, which is you even don't like dogmatism. So dogmatism is this insisting. I mean, how do you recognize dogmatic people? Dogmatic people insist that there's only one way that you go about something. There's only one right way and only one wrong way. And dogmatism will always kind of correct you in a way. I'm not talking here about the grammar. I'm talking about, okay, for us, it is logical to think in this way like this. And if you think about this in a different way, it's not true or it's not right. If you speak like that, or if you hear somebody speaking like that, that is very much a sign of being dogmatic. I'm talking about things that are subjective. I'm not talking about, okay, let's discuss this grammar rule. Okay, the first person singular of a verb is like that. That's right or wrong. I'm talking about these cultural differences that are not, equal in every different cultural realm, that are totally unique. And every time you travel, you will have come across this. It's a complete different way of thinking. So dogmatic people will insist that their way of thinking from their culture is the right way. So to avoid that, again, and this is number 4, you will have a natural dose of curiosity without judging. And this is kind of this way of getting back to your inner child, to be curious enough to ask questions to a stranger, to be playful enough to accept something as interesting that you have already previously learned in a completely different way, and to say, oh, that's interesting. I could go about this also with that uncertainty. And in my home culture, it was completely different. If you have made that experience yourself as well, it's at the beginning, it's a bit challenging. This curiosity can at the beginning feel a bit like your own cultural references are being challenged. But then you realize, oh, actually, this is such a rich way of seeing the world. And you experience yourself becoming more relaxed, open, and I would say also you're more able to construct new relationships because you're open and you're not always insisting on one right way of doing things. And so this was number 4. And finally, number 5 in the Star Explorer mindset is this readiness to always be in this, what I call the nano exposure. Every day, 5 minutes, every day, another nano step towards your fluency. And this kind of consistency also is a mindset. It's something to integrate in your daily routine without saying, oh no, it's actually a really difficult task. I can't do that, without seeing it as a heavy thing. It should be a light thing. It should be my 3 minutes while I'm walking my dog, talking to myself, rehearsing that new sentence, for example. It should be a joyful thing and something that is smoothly integrated in your daily life. I don't know, listening to a podcast in your new language when you're driving to work, or going, I don't know, going to meet friends who already speak the language and then trying out a new sentence. That could also be that nano exposure. By the way, if you haven't yet, download your copy of Everyday Nano, the 7 Steps to Fluency. This is my guide for you to have the 7, I call it the magic ingredients that help you construct that perfect study routine. It's available in English and French now on my website. Download it. And if you like, you can also register. I will leave the link in the comments down below. You can register for a 90-day self-improvement guide that I'm actually putting together at the moment, which summarizes all my videos I've done so far. So if you would like that as a guide that guides you for 3 months, sign up. I will give away 50 copies for free for the first 50 who sign up to that. So this is my offer to you, and you can obviously also, if you want to learn how to build your ideal study routine, you can book me for 1 hour and I will talk with you about how to arrange your daily routine in such a way that it fits your everyday nano for your goal of fluency. Now, this was the Star Explorer mindset. Of course, as always, I'm interested in your opinion. Please drop me a comment and see you in the next video. Thank you very much.